Okay, so here we go, and we're in the Logic. Okay, so here we go. Fuck. Okay, so here we go, and we have jumped into, of course, Ableton Live. I'm quickly pulling apart some stuff now. Of course, I have this prepared from this morning, but let's strip it back a bit, and let's just get the basic drum backing so we can kind of have a little bit of something to go on. For the kick drum, I've used Addictive Drummer by Excellent Audio. It's an awesome real drums plugin, good for I always recommend this out to people. It's either this or Superior Drummer in terms of real drums, for really some of the best real drums you've ever heard, and good for making your own fills and not using sample packs. Really good. But we're just going to be basic and just use the kick from one of the kicks from the metal kit. It's pretty cool, and it's just really simple. It's got to sound pretty, just kind of real. What a stupid comment, but you know what I mean. So just simple. And now you notice this, the kind of what's replaced the 2/4 snare in the the clip from the show is, it's like a hammer smashing on an anvil, like at a blacksmith. So I went on where did I find this one? Actually on YouTube. I just searched for anvil being smashed, and of course it's shocking how many videos actually come up for that. So this is the one I settled on. Probably could find a better one, but in the interest of time, I just kind of went on this one. This one's actually pretty fat, kind of Terminator-y, and then you mix them together. So then just layer down a bit of kind of bass bit. And I mean, of course, we're not going to get to the most important sound to the last. I want to save, we want to build the bed before we put the sheets on it, so to speak. So let's see, just have a basic kind of eighth note kind of thing going on here. And let's get that in there. It's not a difficult sound. It's really simple. It's just like 5 voices, a little bit of detune. I could do this. I could deplete the stereo that way, but a better way to do it would be. So I like how it's a bit wide. So we just open up this, and then just kind of no, keep that. And then I want to jump in and basically kind of just make sure because this is the bass, so let's try to mono the bass a little bit. So just the subs, not so stereo. Really simple technique. By the way, there was a little bit of filter envelope on the slide length. We're going to make the actual kind of growl from scratch, but I just wanted to get, so this video is not freaking 30 minutes long. Just a little bit of filter envelope. There's nothing else on it. I'm not even using any effects here. So very simple. And it just kind of hops along. Now with this one, we're not really going to do much EQ. We're going to basically cut out the sides. So put it in mid-side mode and just cut the sides out. So this cut is only for the sides, and maybe just do a little bit of boost in the mid. So that makes up for the bit of volume loss down at the bottom. See, there's no problem with pushing the sides out on the higher frequencies. That's what they're made for, to be nice and wide. So there we go. And there we have our bed. Now, let's do this from scratch. I went with, we can always refer back to what I actually completed this morning, but I want to do it from scratch with you so you see exactly how to do stuff like this. I went with Silence. It's always my bread and butter. This synth is so versatile, and despite the fact that it's really lacking a lot of like kind of modern day features, but it's not what it intends to be. So that's kind of what makes it great. It is what it is, and it's really good at it. It sounds, yeah, it just sounds great. I would say let's start with one oscillator and start to build. Okay, let's just, by the way, so basically I'm just going to kind of loop this one note. By the way, before I even do that, there's the initial sound. Well, actually, that's the initial sound. And now we turn off retrigger. We want this nice and kind of moving. Put on the filter a little bit. But by the way, as in terms of the MIDI, the trick here, of course, is to, I say of course, but yeah, a little bit of pitch bend. That's how it gets like that, like a little bit of kind of like moody growl. It doesn't have the same effect. See what I mean? Open it up. And if you put the growl back on, it's so much better. And so now let's just kind of build it up, make it thicker, 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 thicker. Another saw, yeah, why not? Okay, and so let's give myself a little bit of filter envelope so it kind of swells up. Too much. Okay, let's do it solo. Longer. Oh yeah, true. Cutting it off with its own envelope. Getting there. And now we're going to copy all of this to envelope, to the B set of layers. So I'm going to copy my oscillator, oscillator A1 to B1, oscillator A2 to B2, and now we're going to go and get the, and by the way, I'm going to change my input of this filter section. This is one of the best features of this synth. I love this. It turns a 2 oscillator synth easily into a 4, and it's always been a 4 oscillator synth, but I just don't think most people use it like that, and you should. Oscillators part A and B. It means it's going to pull the audio from these two and from these two. And these two, now that I've just copied the oscillators from A to the B ones, we're going to drop these down an octave, just give it extra meat. The detuning I want to make sure is just slightly different. I'm not going to pan them, or I'm not going to do the fine tuning. We're going to set the detuning slightly different on each one. It's just going to thicken it all up. And now we have the deeper ones, good. And maybe just pop the EQ on for the standard. Don't even touch that, but just that little bit of kind of smile curve on it would be nice. This I'm going to turn off. We don't need the filter B. We want to do everything with filter A. Oh, pretty close there. Set this to 1. We don't want the notes tailed to continue once we keep going. That's already pretty much where I want to be. Okay, and now next step is to start building into the distortion, of course. And first things first, we're going to take a lovely, lovely, lovely plugin, Decapitator from Next up, we're going to start building in the distortion into the synth. I'm going to go with Decapitator from Sound Toys. Let's go. It always works. Well, not always, but you know, it's definitely one of the better ones out there. It gives a really, really unique kind of feel. These are different algorithms, and you get different sounds out of it. E seems to be kind of the most useful. Let's see. See now, do you hear it breaking up like that? This is what we don't want. So what we're going to do is group it. Well, basically what I want to do is not distort the bass. I only want to distort everything above the bass, and that will clean it up. This is what happens with a lot of distortion units that are broadband. That's why distortion units that are multiband are really, really useful. However, you can make it multiband, and I'm sure every DAW has a way to do this, but I'm going to show you the Ableton way. You basically just take, let's do this. Let's just not even, yeah. No, it's fine. Go with, get yourself the standard Ableton Live multiband dynamics, and go pop it right on the chain right before Decapitator. And you're going to take the lows can be around 120. That's fine. Bring the highs all the way up. So effectively we're just, this is the crossover. These are the crossover bands. I've just raised the crossover band for between the mid and the high all the way to the maximum. So essentially we are only working with mid and low. Mid is also all the high too. So I'm going to solo that, and that is, now I just have a cleaner distortion on this. I'm going to get a new chain. I'm making a duplicate chain, and I'm going to change this multiband. Oh, number one, I'm going to take the capitator off of this layer. So this layer is going to be distorted, mid, and high. You can make that, whatever, I can't really read the whole thing, but you know what I mean. And the bottom is the sub clean. And instead of soloing the mid, which is, just to reiterate, it's the mid and the high, we're going to just solo the low. And so now we got everything together. So the lows are clean, and in case you're wondering, no, the dynamics processing is not doing any compression. It's just to split. And so we have, we work with each one separately. And let's see, maybe a little bit of delay now. Just to push it out a little bit. And then one of my new favorite reverb plugins. Comet, which is really, really cool. We can get rid of this now. I'm just thinking a little bit of EQ right now, just to kind of bring it into line. How was it? I just think the top, distorted layer is a bit too loud. Okay, unsolo. So then we can go and do a little bit more fun stuff over there. Let's just bring over the other midis for this section. Because it actually does do a progression later, I noticed. And it's kind of cool. I'm like, oh, let's just kind of try to do that too. And then that kind of all sounds like this. But I put a little tension drone in, just a simple, really simple little pad off Serum, and just filtered the shit out of it, just to kind of create just a tinge. And that's that. Let's see, it was the one we just created. So okay, then I've gone and done, there was like a bit of a kind of a, not really a chord change, but then a bassline progression section of the same track in the same part of the show, and I'm like, okay, let's just do that too, see how things are kind of related to each other. So now the sound is kind of just doing its own thing. I turned down the distorted layer quite a bit, and yeah, let's just make the reverb a bit more. Since we already have a bass line, we're probably kind of trying to be cautious with this a little bit. I forgot the actual kick drums. Let's get that kind of massaged in there a little bit better. It's a wicked sound. I mean, the whole purpose of this was really more about this sound. And you could do, like, you could use different distortions, you can split the bands differently. There's a bunch of different ways that you can really approach it. Absolutely evil. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and hope you learned something. I hope you got something new to play with, work in your tracks, make yourself an evil track for the day. You don't have to be happy every day on lockdown. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and yeah, email me if you're looking for a little bit more private training. Take care. And yeah, email me if you would like some private training. Of course, it's discreet as well. I'm not going to beg you for a testimonial or anything like that. I think the lessons and the learning speak for themselves. So yeah, love to have you. And yeah, take care and stay safe. Bye.